So today we're going to talk quite a lot about some details about the market, about development, about what's coming here to the Lafayette area as far as new house builds are concerned in 2026. But I'm going to start with looking at new builds. So I'm going to bring up the Tippecanoe Area Plan Commission is responsible for approving planned developments here in the area, whether those are subdivisions or planned developments like the high-rise apartments and condos that are going up around Lafayette, West Lafayette and downtown Lafayette. They get first crack at approving that and then send them on to the appropriate constituency from there, whether that's the Lafayette or West Lafayette City Council or the Tippecanoe Commissioners. New houses coming to the area. There are a lot coming in 2026. And if you've watched the show at all, you know that I have talked a lot about inventory being constrained and just not keeping up with demand here in the area. The area has been growing. We are economically strong. We have a great manufacturing base. We have a lot of old school manufacturing, a lot of new school manufacturing. We, of course, have Purdue University. We have retail and healthcare. And we have a really great diversified economy, but there's not been enough housing to keep up. So I went through all of the planned subdivision developments that are coming up here in 2026. And I'm going to tell you that there's a little bit of a gray art to this because easy number to track is number of permits issued. And I could also look at number of actual new homes sold because there are times when certain neighborhoods get planned and then they just never take off or they develop forever and they're really slow burns. But this year, we've had a number of big developers come in. We've got a developer out of Indianapolis. We have a national developer coming into the Lafayette area that have brought way more homes to the market, announced way more homes, have plans under review, have permits that are being issued and approved in many cases as we speak. I won't bury the lead here. I went through and I did up some totals. My best guesstimate is about 1,249 new single-family and townhouse style properties coming on the market in 2026 and on into 2027. A number of these are breaking ground as we speak. Milbrook happened just, I believe, yesterday or the day before the official groundbreaking. But I wanted to talk you through what some of these planned developments are, where they are, what they're going to be. So let's talk through this. I went through, and you can see here on this website that these are plans that are under review and plans that are approved. And when I go to click on them, it'll actually zoom us to the neighborhood. We can click and get the info. And when I talk about the information, it gets a little gray. Sometimes these permits have been open for a while. So, for example, I just clicked on Arbor Chase by the Lake Subdivision Section 6, Phase 1. It was approved in 2021 and platted in 2022 with currently 37 to 42. So that's really neither here nor there for our conversation right now. But then some of the under reviews, the website just hasn't been updated just yet or will be updated very soon. But let's go through and talk about some of the new housing developments that are coming here to the area. And we're just going to be talking about location and total number of homes. Not going to be talking too much about price points because we don't have all of that information just yet. So first up, down on the northwest side of West Lafayette, we have Bauer Ridge Estates, which is going to be 84 homes here. And you can see that this is just to the east of the old Elks Country Club that's being redeveloped. It's under consideration for redevelopment as we speak. So that is a West Lafayette address. That is going to be TSC schools. Those are 84 lots that are going to be coming to the market. And then we're going to zip around here mostly in alphabetical order, so it may not quite go in order. The next one is Centennial's Edge, and this is in downtown Lafayette. And this one, unlike most, is a multifamily. It's still single family, but this is townhouse. This is attached as opposed to detached. And one of the big problems with the housing inventory here in the Greater Lafayette area is that we are dominated by single-family housing, by standalone, detached housing as opposed to attached like townhouses and condos and that sort of thing. So any development towards that. But this is redeveloping an old lot just on the north side of downtown. 36 single-family attached townhouses coming to this lot here, and if you drive by, you'll see that this site is under active development now. I drove by, I would say a week or two ago, and they were definitely grading the area and getting that underway. So I'm really excited about anything that's multifamily here, whether it's townhouse or condo, just because denser housing leads to more housing and also has a lot to do with walkable communities and walkable towns. And of course, there's going to be areas of town where that just doesn't make sense. But that's 36 new homes coming. And then we're going to move on to Chesapeake Point. And this is a phase 2. So some of these that we're going to look at, and a lot of development is the neighborhood was started and it's successful, and now they're expanding the neighborhood. And this is one that's a little grayer. I think some of these homes are already done, but this was announced back early in 2025 as 81 lots. But this is down here on the southwest side of Lafayette, just down off of the new 231. 231's not new anymore, but you know what I'm saying. So there's 81 lots there. So we're already up close to 200 lots that we've talked about, and we're only into our third development. Moving on, this one is mixed use. I don't have as much info on this one. I believe that this is an apartment complex, but I wanted to throw it in there. It's going to be R3. It's going to have 13 buildings, 240 units total. I believe that these are going to be apartment style and not condo style. This one just got onto the docket early this year, just about 2 months ago, and I haven't heard a lot about this, so I will definitely be following up. That's 240 units. If we take that out of the mix, because it's the one that doesn't fit the rest the most, that brings us down to about 1,009 total units across Tippecanoe County, and that's still a lot compared to past years. Probably shouldn't have put that one in, but we're going to we're going to look at Everwood next. Everwood is a subdivision, another new subdivision just across the street from what we just looked at down at Chesapeake Point, just to the south. This is a new development that's had some controversy from the neighbors to the north, but it was approved. Another 249 lots coming to this area. And if they haven't broken ground already, and I haven't driven down by it in the last couple of weeks, I'll get some updates on that. Like I said, I was just going through and just collating the data, and then we'll hit all of these sites and figure out where they stand and when I think they're actually going to be coming to market. But another 249 lots. And then the interesting thing about this development is that it is a mix of R1A and R1B. And R1B basically just has smaller lots and smaller lot lines. It makes the property a little bit cheaper, a little bit more manageable, gets us a little bit higher density of housing on the same amount of land. And when you talk about homes that are walkable, and I'm not saying that down here south on New 231 is walkable to anything else, but just inside of its own neighborhood, having some R1B, having some smaller lot lines is definitely, I think, a good thing overall. Heartland Estates is up next. This one is actually over, and I'm going to zoom this out. This is a 108-acre lot in Dayton, just south of Dayton. And if you can see this map here, Dayton's kind of right here. It's a little small town just to the southeast side of Lafayette. It's pretty popular with employees of Subaru because it's right on the other side of I-65. It's a quick shot up 38 into everything of Lafayette, straight shot, really quick shot up 65. And also Dayton's just a great town on its own. But there have been a couple of new developments here on the south side of Dayton, and this is just the latest. Another 108 lots coming to the small town of Dayton. At some point, when does it stop being a small town? I don't think that we're anywhere close to coming to that extent there. So there's 108 lots coming there. I'm going to skip out of order. I'm going to go to the last one on my list, which is Timberbrook Meadows Subdivision Phase 2. This is an expansion of neighborhoods that Tempest has been developing over here to the north of West Lafayette, just over 600 north. And there's Timberbrook Meadows Subdivision Phase 1. There's Timberbrook Estates. And then across the street to the north, I can't remember the name of that subdivision. But this is basically going to... In some ways, it's going to wind up being one big neighborhood, and we're really talking about subsections of this neighborhood. But Tempest is opening up another 167 lots. And if you're wondering why this development is happening here, it's because the 3 schools are all basically in this area. You've got Harrison High School, Burnett Creek, and I'm drawing a blank on the third one. So there's 167 lots coming to the north side of West Lafayette. But then, like I said, I just skipped because I want to go back to Milbrook. And if you haven't heard about Milbrook, you haven't been watching the show. Milbrook is a development being built by Estridge Homes out of Indianapolis. And the Lafayette development scene, the Greater Lafayette development scene, has been a little bit insular in the past. There are many reasons for this, but this is maybe not the first, but this is definitely part of the wave of developers from outside of the Lafayette area coming to Lafayette to help develop. And I've heard a lot of people say, why is Lafayette bringing people in? And Lafayette doesn't bring people in. It's not like the cities or the counties do anything. Yes, we can talk about tax abatements and things like that, but that doesn't really apply too much to the residential areas. This is businesses doing the analysis and figuring out that we don't have enough houses for sale here, and they can build houses and make a profit. And that's the point of owning a business, is to make profit and put food on the table and feed your kids. And your shareholders, of course. But why this is such a big deal, this is up just Salisbury in West Lafayette turns into 50 West. So this is to the north side of West Lafayette. This is the approval of Phase 1. And Phase 1 has 236 lots. But at the same time, they also have approval for 48 lots in their cottages subdivision section, which is just part of it here. So you're just looking at this right now. But I bring this up to say that this is an outside developer coming from Indy, and they've got roughly just under 300 total homes that are going to be built in Phase 1. But it is somewhere between 1,100 and 1,400 doors between single-family detached, the traditional single-family homes, and single-family attached, think townhomes. 1,100 homes, one developer. Now, they have said that this is going to take about a decade to build. At a decade to build, that's about 100 homes per year. I think that we're going to see in the first 5 years, a good majority of those are built, and then it'll take the last 5 years to finish them out, I think is how it's going to play out. But this is one developer. But as we go through that list of new builds coming to the area, new build subdivisions coming to the area, the ones that are coming now that have been recently approved and are basically breaking ground now and will start selling now here in 2026 represent north of 1,000 homes. That doesn't include some of the unfinished subdivisions that were 50, 75, 100 homes and were approved last year or the year before, and they've only built out, say, 50 or 75% of them, so they still have some capacity. So we have probably in the 12 to 1,400 range of actual lots that are going to be available this year and probably into early next year. And that is just huge. And if you stay tuned to @Lafayette Live and the channel, The Lafayette Reel, I'm going to bring you updates on what's actually going into those subdivisions, what kind of houses, price points, amenities, options, because that's the other thing. There's a lot of amenities that are going to be coming to some of these neighborhoods. So make sure that you hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss a minute of our updates here on the Lafayette Reel. So that's just a quick highlight of a lot of the new build communities that are coming to Lafayette. If you're interested in any of those, go to thelafayettereel.com/YouTube, fill out the form, and let's start working together on your new build home here in the Greater Lafayette area.